Hey, good evening, and welcome to Streaming Bootcamp. As you can see, I'm in my Euronurse studio today, and we're going to have a great show for you today. Be sure to like and subscribe. That always helps us out if you do. So let's get right on into it. Tonight on Streaming Bootcamp, I'm diving into one of the most powerful ways to speed up and elevate your content creation workflow, building stunning, high-impact slide decks using Google's NotebookLM. Whether you're teaching, presenting, or producing educational content, you'll learn how to turn raw notes, articles, PDFs, and even transcripts into clear, structured narratives that practically build your presentation for you. Now, I'm going to walk you through how to use Google Notebook LM to organize your ideas, extract key teaching points, and transform scattered information into a polished slide outline that's ready for PowerPoint or Google Slides. You'll also see how to refine tone, improve flow, and generate speaker's notes that keep you delivering natural and engaging without spending hours staring at a blank slide. By the end of this session, you'll have a repeatable system for going from idea to finished deck faster than ever while keeping your presentations visually clean, clinically accurate, and most importantly, keeping your audience focused. So I'm going to talk to you about how I create some of these great slides that I've been able to use for my different production. Next week, I'm going to be talking about, for my Euro Patient podcast, on how does AltaViva treat your urge incontinence. So that's the title. So I'm going to do a little research here. And the best tool for research is something called Notebook LM. And you can create a notebook, and it's going to do some of the research for me. So I'm just going to put in, I want to create a slideshow, a 15-minute slideshow on aimed at patients. I'm not going to convert it to a PowerPoint yet. And I'm going to see if we can get some presenter notes here. So now I go ahead and I put this in here, and it's going to go and start researching the web, where Google knows best. And then now we start to see it's showing some information. Actually, view it. So we're going to, let's see, we're going to select, I like that, patient brochure, Prisma Health. That's kind of a, where they do a research. New treatment options for urge incontinence. This is a doctor who's done something similar. This is a YouTube video. I'm not so sure I want that, so I can take that out. System doctor discussion guide from Medtronic, the company that makes it. I like that. I like that. What is AltaViva? Again, this is a YouTube video. I don't really want that. This is a website, not WordPress. I don't want that. SUFU is a Society of Urologic Female Urology, so that's probably a good one to have in here. And again, from the Medtronic company themselves. So we'll go ahead and we'll import all that information. And it's going to go on to the web now, and it's going to look through all this research, and it's going to come up with some information for us. Here we go. So now it takes a little time for this to come through, but now it's created a little summary of what it's found. I can read through this. This is a lot of the stuff I want to talk about, so that sounds good. Here's some other questions. How does ankle implant help control the bladder? You know, I kind of like that. I'm going to add that in here too, because a lot of patients are going to wonder why we're treating the ankle to treat the bladder. So I kind of like that. Now let's see, we'll also maybe throw the what's the procedure for getting an ankle implant. How often do I need to recharge the device? That might be a good one. So hopefully it's going to pull all that stuff in here. We're going to go in here to create a deck. Now, the prompt is the key, prompting it to produce the best results. So I like to use these shortcuts. So I don't have to keep writing my things over and over. I like photorealistic style. It's going to make slides that are really good looking. You'll see how that looks. And then create a 15-minute slideshow. Again, aimed at patients. I'm going to take this include dialogue out because I just want to see what it's going to come up with. And we'll start there. Now, at the same time, I can kind of go ahead and do the same thing and get a couple versions of it. Photorealistic, 15-minute slideshow aimed at patients. This time I'm going to put what I want it to include. Aimed at patients, include information and post recovery. All right, and we'll generate that too. So you can see it's going to generate two. Now this takes anywhere from several minutes to half hour, 45 minutes. I mean, it can really be lengthy depending on how much research it's got to go through. But it should be based on all this research that I put into it, some of the questions that I've added to it, and it's going to come up with hopefully a really great deck. So we'll see what happens. We're going to come back. Usually what I do is go on and do something else. So I'm going to just pause my recording here. Okay, so here we go. It took us about, I would say, maybe less than 10 minutes. And it came up with two different sets of slides. So let's take a quick peek and see what we got. So I'm going to make these big. So these are the slides that it produced. Reclaiming Your Freedom from Urge Urinary Incontinence, a complete guide to understanding AltaViva implant. All right. So now the hidden burden, sudden urgency, kind of gives us some statistics. That's kind of nice looking. And there's a very worried looking woman there looking up on the internet. Describes a little bit what's going on here. Miscommunication between the brain and bladder. I like that. Not a lot of words. I like that. Now here's, again, we talked about that connection with the ankle. You know, people ask, why are we doing this implant into the ankle area? And that explains why that happens. Talks a little bit about your options, lifestyle and behavioral things you can do, medications you can try, and finally the implant, and talks about the pros and cons of each of them. Really like that slide. And look how pretty these are. That's the actual implant, looks like that. Meet AltaViva system. Kind of gives you a reference with a quarter about the height and size of it. Smart battery therapy. We talked about battery life. Really nice looking slides. Now, I can tell you that the research and everything that was done here is spot on. I read through all these to be sure. And again, I know what it looks like, so I've seen it before. That's a spot on image of what the AltaViva looks like. Really great pictures. And if I did this myself, I can tell you how much time it would take to make all these slides. It's crazy how fast this is. And then look at these slides here. Simple prep shows where the incision is going to be, quick implantation, same day freedom, patients go home. Really love this slides. Again, we talked about that battery life. It explains that too, how you recharge it. Go back to rapid recharge, shows that charging band. Gives some percentages of how well it works. Little testimonial here. That's pretty cool. Now, again, it got all this stuff by going through the website. They didn't make this up. You know, and that's one of the things people complain about with AI is what we call kind of hallucinating, where it makes things up. This is actually based on facts that are found on the internet. I can go and look all these things up and see where the science came from. Is it right for you? I mean, this is really, I can tell you, this is ready to go just as is. Now, the nice thing is you can update these and use them however you want. These can be converted to a PowerPoint, which is what I'll probably do because I like to use the slides for PowerPoints. And then it's pretty simple to do. I can go over here, download it for PowerPoints. You can also download it as a PDF. They really one of the things that I will say as a criticism is they only come as a PDF. If it's a PowerPoint or a PDF, it's still basically the same thing. It's one picture file over the slide. And that means they're harder to go in there and tweak yourself. That's kind of a drawback. I think that's going to be something that's going to change. And let me just kind of open this up and see if we can get it. So here's the PowerPoint. And you can see there's the slide itself. It's just literally just stamping it over and it even doesn't do a perfect job of getting it right all the time. And sometimes it's leaving a little white space there. Not a big deal, but sometimes on a white slide, it doesn't matter. But sometimes something like that, I'm going to want to correct. I use Keynote for doing my presentation just because I can go ahead and insert myself in here talking about the slides, which I kind of like, or put myself to the side a little easier than I can do with PowerPoint. So just my own prejudice. All right, now let's go back here. So we like that. I can tell you it's going to take a lot to make me try something else. But let's see what it came up with. Now, this was basically the same thing where I didn't give it all the limitations. And whoops, I want to go full slide here, full size. So again, here's kind of a similar situation where they're talking about, reclaiming, the same basics. We've got, I kind of like this. Here's our lady, and it's the same lady. So it's some similarity between slides. Again, goes through those statistics. Real visible. I like how it looks, shows you how these things, your options, lifestyle changes, medications. So I may use part of one and part of another. Here's that Alta Viva again, really good looking slides. It'll be tough to decide one or the other, huh? The ankle connection. Wow, I really like this slide. Here I was so impressed the first time. I guess this is the second set of slides. Yeah. The first was the one where I just kind of asked it to produce it. This is the one I gave it more information about what I wanted. So that's why these are nice. Oh, I like that picture there in the middle where it looks at the cut on where the incision is, little Band-Aid. That's all there is to it. And again, no reason you can't use both. Simple charging, future-proof, MRI ready. That's nice that it mentions that. Proven relief for urge incontinence. Super cool. I don't like this one so much. I might use that other one. I think I'm going to do a combination between the two personally. And that's why I always make two sets of slides. Just call me silly. I just think that I may get one that I like better than another. Sometimes I'd like parts of one, parts of another. But I'm telling you, folks, as somebody who's produced a lot of information over my career, this is fantastic. Understanding the risk, preparing for your appointment. Yeah, so see, it's definitely giving us more information than we did before. So there we go. And that is it. Well, so I hope that's helpful because I think it's important that, use these secrets to try to make it easier. If you present as much information as I do, anything you can to make your slides really pop for your audience and save you a lot of time trying to, even with AI, trying to build these things yourself. It's a big time saver. Hey, next month on the next Streaming Bootcamp, I'm going to talk about, I keep mentioning when I'm doing these presentations about text expander. Text expander is a program that I can't live without. And I'm going to take a deep dive into how it's used and how you might want to use it and how you get it, all that good stuff. So be sure to join me next month and you'll be able to find out more about Text Expander because I think it's a great program. So keep thinking I should talk about that at a show and we'll do it next month. Until then, keep on podcasting.